and suffering. The idea is, if you can see this picture here, that is an article from the Philadelphia Inquirer in 1981, 35 years ago, and they ran a series of stories how dysfunctional the Philadelphia schools were, and how the schools only served the interests of the adults, the workers, the administrators, and had no interest in the children, how it was the shame of the city, and how it had to be fixed. That was 35 years ago, and obviously we've made no progress. 35 years ago, we spent half the amount of money in real terms, inflation adjusted, that we do now. So we've doubled the amount of money we spend on education in Philadelphia, and the results have been a disaster. There's been no improvement at all. So the idea that I would like to propose, and you're hearing it first at ThinkFest, is that we would give every child in the city of Philadelphia a voucher. The good news about Philadelphia is that it is the poorest large city in America. So we have nowhere to go but up. I believe if we take this voucher idea, we can go from the poorest city in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia go from the poorest city in America to the richest city in America. We can go from the Philadelphia 76ers to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So what's the idea? We want vouchers. They are not poverty vouchers, but they would end poverty. Milton Friedman famously said 50 years ago that a poverty voucher, that's just giving money to a child, a poor child to go to school, will never work because it will never have the political support of the middle class and the upper middle class. So the idea is to take take the focus on our children, not on the adults. So what would $16,000 do? $16,200 is the amount of money that the city of Philadelphia spends on its students per year. What I would propose is we give everybody $10,000. You're free to go to any school you want. You go to a Catholic school, a charter school, a private school, and you're also free to go to your local district school. If you're satisfied with the government schools, you're welcome to stay there. 13 years from K to 12. If you invested in the stock market, the bond market, or whatever, on average you would have $109,000 when you graduate. So a kid in Philadelphia would have $109,000 when he graduates high school. He can take that money and he can go to college with it, so we'd have no student loans. He can take that money, he can buy a business with it, so he can get out, he can start right out from the middle class. Or if he didn't like Tuesday's results, he can buy a $109,000 house in Canada. You get a lot for your money in Canada. So why do we need this? District spending $16,243 per kid. 69% of the schools are low performing. Basically, if you count real college graduates, kids who are ready for college, maybe 10% of the kids coming out of Philadelphia district schools are ready to graduate, are ready for college. Now that's $16,000 a kid. There's about 200,000 kids, so we're talking about $3 billion basically down the drain every year. Well, I didn't want to show you this yet. All right. I wanted to shock you and ask you, how much do you think the average Philadelphia school teacher makes? Because all we ever hear about is how underpaid they are and how abused they are and how we just need more and more money. Well, the shocking fact is that the average school teacher in Philadelphia with benefits makes $117,000 a year. The average nationwide salary is $57,000, and they have benefits too, but $117,000 a year. And what you'll always hear is about what the salaries are, because the benefits is where the real money is. That's where the health care is free, the pensions are funded, and you're making $117,000 a year. Now, many of these teachers are great teachers, and the top teachers would stay, and they would probably even make more money in a voucherized system. But many of these teachers are horrible. It's very difficult to be a good teacher. Not everybody has the knack for it. These bottom 25% of the teachers are tormenting our children, and they have got to go. And that's where a lot of the savings and a lot of the improvement will come from. Jerry Jordan, head of the Teachers Union, was asked, the last 3,500 people you hired, you didn't fire any reading instruction. That is basically enough to close the gap with suburban schools. The average spending per going to be cared for, and the remarkable money, because we can do it for way, way less than the district schools can get it. So why wouldn't we make a deal where there's a huge amount of money saved and the consumer is demanding that they get this product, and when they get it, it's not like when you and I buy an iPhone, we may be happy. When they get into the schools, they are crying tears of joy. Since 2001, Earned Income Tax Credit, EITC, and now a new program, OSTC, have saved the taxpayers. We can certainly increase those, the EITC and save the state and the taxpayer a fortune and help children go to the schools that they want to. So what is my real plan? Well, 10,000 gets you a safe, quality education. 6,000 at 13 years. We did the math at Susquehanna, and we found out that it's $109,751 in your pocket. If someone graduates high school with $109,000 in their pocket after a good education, it's pretty tough for them to be poor. So what do we really see? Imagine a low-income family, 4 kids in Philadelphia. The city is going to, at the city to state, it's roughly 45% city, 45% state, 10% federal government, is going to spend $832,000 on that family over 4 years. So this family looks like they're poor. They're under the poverty line, and they live in probably in a not safe neighborhood, not such a great house, and by all measures of human decency, they're poor. But are they poor? They have. Are they poor? They are poor because they are forced to take that money against their will and spend it on the district schools. Now, no one in their right mind who was low income at $832,000 and 4 kids would spend it on the district schools, and neither would these people. So if we had the plan where you got $10,000 voucher and $6,000 in the bank, when this family of 4 graduated high school, they would have spent $520,000 of that money on a quality education. The education would be good, and it would be worth way more than $520,000, not way less than $832,000. But each of the kids would have approximately $110,000 or $439,000 for the family of 4 to go out and start their lives. $440,000 is what they would. If they like. That's how powerful it would be to allow competition, allow entrepreneurs to serve our children the way the great charter schools do, the way the great Catholic schools do, the way the great private schools do, and we would open it up to everybody. But this is talking about the poor. What does it mean to you if you're a typical person in this room? Anybody in this room send their kids to the district schools? Okay. All right. Well, you are probably living in a good neighborhood. I'm guessing, I don't know you. In a good neighborhood where the schools are pretty good, and that's fine. But even you, or everyone in Philadelphia, may say one of the great stresses of life is saving up enough money to send a kid to college. We saw in the campaign how gigantic the proposals were to pay off student loans, how much stress people are under because they have to save their whole life for college. Now imagine you're middle class or upper middle class, and we have this program. You send your kid to a $10,000 school, which is probably better than the one you're currently at now, but now you have $6,000. Now you have $6,000 to put in the bank, so when your kid graduates high school, you have $110,000. No student loans, it's all paid for, you can go to a college, and all the stress, all the savings up is not, all that burden is gone. Now, let's say you love your school and you say, no, I'm glad to go to my school. I don't want your voucher. I don't want your $6,000. Fine, you can stay. We're not asking anybody to do anything that they don't want to do. We're just trying to increase choice. So if you like your school, you can stay there. If you don't like your school and you think you're spending too much money and it's not safe and you're stressed out because you have to save up your entire life for a college education, this would wipe this problem away. So how does this make Philadelphia go from the poorest city in America to the richest city in America? Well, if we had 200,000 kids roaming Philadelphia with $10,000 in their pocket, ready to spend on any school that they wanted, entrepreneurs from all around the country, charter school operators, private school operators, because I have a customer base of 200. We'll have a math school. Kids in art school, there's an art school. Your kid's a computer programmer, we'll have computer programming schools. If your kid wants to get a job in the trades and he wants to learn a real vocational skill, we're going to teach him how to get that vocational skill, and we're going to be ready to have him workplace ready when he graduates high school. Plus, he's going to have $109,000, so he may want to start his own auto repair shop or his own business or his own welding company or whatever. So all these entrepreneurs would come around. The city would have a variety of schools that no one, not only in America, but nowhere else around the world would have. And then if you're Google or Facebook or Amazon or Susquehanna, and you're thinking, where do I want to go? Where do my employees want to raise their children? Well, I different school than the other one, and I want to send them where people are working hard, entrepreneurs are working hard to make sure that my kid is happy, not a school where no one in the last 3,500 have gotten fired. I want these teachers fired, I want these administrators fired, I want these principals fired when they don't do the job, and they have to serve my kid because they're getting my money. So we would have the best schools in the history of America. We would have entrepreneurs flocking to work here, because what are you going to do if you're Google and Facebook? Your employees are going to want to go here where the schools are the best. They would bring with them their talents, the jobs that they bring, and the tax breaks that they would bring. And no city in America or around the world would be able to compete with Philadelphia. So that's it. You got it. End of human suffering. Thank you very much.